Welcome back to Fearless Ferris Fire. So, in this video, as you probably already saw by the title and possibly the thumbnail, I'm going to be showing you the new flatter that I've made. So, let me sit down and show you what we got. So, this is the new flatter I've made. It is a 3-inch flatter. If we grab the tape measure and we go into this view, we can see right here that this is pretty much exactly 3 inches by 3 inches. So the bottom is ground down pretty flat, with the corners slightly rounded, just so that we're not leaving indentions in the steel. The head is really quite rounded, just so that when, you're striking with a hammer, that there's not much. If you hit, it's still going to be sending most of the energy down. And, we do not really have the ability, or I have not made a big enough die to be able to hammer these flatters out in this kind of shape. So, this is just a piece of AR400, which is really tough steel, that is then welded to this, basically, in a way, a hammerhead that I forged out of a piece of mild steel, so that it is, quite flexible, so that we're not going to be shearing it off as we're hammering on it really hard. It is going to mean that it is going to want a mushroom, but it's not going to send chips as quickly into us. It is just welded with 7018 bead single pass, which came out quite nice. So I'm happy with it. It has a 9.5-inch handle up from the base of the handle to the lower part of the head, and then all the way to the top of the head is about just a 1/8 of an inch, under 11 inches. So really close to being 11 inches. So there you go. That's our new flatter that we made. Really basic in actually making. So I really encourage you guys, if you don't have a flatter and if you have the need for one, for all the blacksmiths out there, go ahead and make one. It's really simple. You could have used just regular mild steel plate. For this, it just won't last quite as long. But you can find some tool steel plate. You can even forge out a piece of plate to then get welded onto the bottom here. The hardest part is if you do not have a welder. If you do not have the ability to weld yourself, this might be hard. But you can also forge weld this onto this plate if you do everything correctly. So the options are endless. Like, all you need, this was, I think, 1.5 inch round when I started with it. All I did was I upset it a little bit to be able to shrink it down a little bit, or make it a little larger in diameter, and then I squared it. I hammered it square, which then basically brought it back to its original length. And then I made sure to hammer the bottom flat and nice and square, and then I hammered the top with a little bit of chamfering on the sides here, to give it kind of an octagonal, kind of an octagonal shape, but not too much. And then made sure kind of leave this roundish, and leave this, the bottom part really is the most important part, leave it as flat as you can. But that's really it. And then all I did was I went here with an angle grinder and I ground it pretty flat, and then I took it to some sort of way that I could get it completely flat, which for us is a belt sander. But if you have just a really nice flat stone and a piece of sandpaper and you work it for a while, you can get it really flat. This wasn't even perfectly flat when I welded the plate on there. It was probably a couple thousandths out, which is, not a ton, but you know, it was probably half of a 16th if you actually put a tape measure up onto it. So that'd be a 32nd, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. It's pretty simple. I'm kind of a little surprised at myself that I did not make one sooner just because of how simple it was. And then I just took an angle grinder and basically did the top nice and round. I did take it to our belt sander because that makes the edges nice and clean, and then I then hit it on our buffer to kind of make the top nice and shiny because I wanted to make it shiny. That's my only explanation for making it shiny. You can leave it as a rough finish. It'll probably be better that way, so you have a little bit more grip when you start swinging a sledge on it. And then the handle, this is hickory, actually. This is a hickory handle that I put in there. You can even put a piece of pine as your handle. You can even put a piece of actual solid steel stock. Another way to make this, because I like the punched eye with a handle style best, because it leaves the most, it absorbs most of the vibration before it actually gets to your hand. But honestly, probably the hardest part about this build was punching and drifting the eye, or the most time consuming. Another way you could have done this was just, you punch a little hole and stick a piece of round stock through it, or you don't even need to stick a hole in it. You could just take a piece of round stock or a piece of pipe and just weld it on there. Then you have a quite crude but functional flatter. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed seeing this. And if you have any comments or any questions or any ideas, just let them down in the comments below. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.